Okay, I am here with Ari Romero and Teresa Noyola from the Houston Dash. They're fresh off a wonderful Monday morning practice. So why don't you guys tell us what practice was like and what preseason has been these last couple of weeks. You know, now you've been here 2 weeks, no, 3 weeks. Got a better sense of the teammates and Randy's coaching style. So how does it feel 3 weeks in?
It's still kind of coming together. I think getting to know each other better, and you know, there's still some players on trial, and so I think once those final decisions are made, then it'll be easier to kind of get the whole chemistry going as a group.
Yeah, like she said, like as of right now, we're doing general positional stuff. Some forwards go do shooting, defense does the whole sliding, shifting. So when it comes down to it, this 3rd week starting now, we're starting to focus in on specific scenarios, like today, like when we were just trying to keep the ball in front, things like that. This practice was a defensive kind of a practice to help us out and move forward from it.
Let's talk about last Saturday's scrimmage against Texas Tech. If you look at the scoreline, you're like, wow, it was a blowout, but it took 30 minutes to get the first goal in, and it looked like this was the game with the least amount of lineup changes. Yeah. It didn't look like there was nearly, I didn't get to go to the game, but from the game report it looked like there was much less subbing than there had been in the other scrimmages.
Yeah, I think in the previous ones we had kind of played like one team at halftime and another team in the second half, but this time it was, I think, like subs came in 3 at a time or something.
So do you feel like you were kind of finding a groove? I mean, because 7 goals, that's a nice scoreline.
Yeah, it's like it seems like he wants to get an idea of subs, but then again, he tells us before every game and before lineup start up is like, don't put anything in your heads, but it's just a matter of it's still a competition of who's going to start, who's not.
So what's it been like being coached by Randy? Because I know you both played against his teams, but I don't think you've ever played on one of his teams, right? So what?
As a coach, I like Randy. I like his style of play, especially from a flank player. I'm enthusiastic with my position, so I like to get forward a lot. So with his style, I love it. Playing against him, it was a pain, but now that we're for him, I'm very excited to be a part of his movement.
And how often did Stanford play against Notre Dame? Very often? Or
we played, I think, once a season every time I was there. So I think I played them total 4 times. And I think we were like, maybe more actually, because we played them in the regular season, and then I think we beat them every time in the regular season, and they beat us every time in the postseason, or something weird like
so
that.
it always balanced out.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Well, let's talk about Houston. Teresa, I know you have family in Houston, so this is not a new city for you. But what was it like to know, okay, I'm coming here as a professional. This is going to be my club team.
Yeah, no, very cool, especially because Houston is such a cool soccer city and a sports city in general. And I think it's kind of unique to have soccer as such a main sport in a city, especially when there's such big sports like football and basketball and baseball surrounding it, So I think that automatically gives some exposure to the women's team and the women's program, just because of like how fun and passionate the fans are about the Dynamo teams and how like cool that organization is. So I think that like automatically gives us a good chance to get some good fans out there.
How does it feel different from Seattle and Kansas City, where you were last year in the NWSL?
It's definitely different. I think it's a little similar to Seattle in the sense of just like new things happening, and it's a new team and like new organization and kind of just growing in that way. I wasn't there at Kansas City at the beginning, so I'm sure it was the same way. But this is the only team that's new this season, so like there's growing pains and there's things to get used to, and it's a new team, and we have to get used to each other. So that's something that not every other team has to battle with. And I think it's been it's a challenge, but I think it's also good in some ways. So.
Now, Ari, is this your first experience living in Texas?
Yes.
And you're with the host family.
Correct.
How's that going? Is that a nice way to meet Houston?
Yeah, I mean, thankfully for them, it's been an easy transition. they're very welcoming. They've been to every game.
Oh, I noticed a Romero 2 jersey on the
Yeah,
sidelines.
yeah.
They are
Honor,
every
an
game.
11-year-old. I give him my Japan jersey, and he wears it
That's so
basically
cute.
every.
Yeah,
I wash it once in a while,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I noticed that. I was like, oh, he's got the Japan patch. Where did you get that?
yeah.
So speaking of, you played for Mexico in the Under-20 Women's World Cup in 2012 in Japan. What was that experience like? You started all 3
Yeah.
games, 4 games,
Four.
4 games.
Yeah, I mean, undescribable. I was working with U20s before for the Germany, and unfortunately, my got cut short right before. So it was definitely one of those stepping stones. And when I made that roster for the Japan team, it was, like I said, it's another dream come true. You know, being a pro athlete now, it's one of those moments that you'll never forget.
And so you got to play for Leo Cuellar. He coached the U20s, right? And he's coaching the U17s. And you played for Leo with the full senior team in the 2011 Women's World Cup.
Yes.
Talk about playing for Leo.
Yeah, Leo is a very experienced coach. He's kind of like a grandpa in some ways.
He's been the coach of the Mexican women's program since 1998.
Yeah. So he has a ton of experience and knowledge of the game, and it's been really interesting to be a part of that and learn from him in that way.
Well, let's talk about the U17. So they were unfortunately eliminated Thursday in the Under-17 Women's World Cup that's being played in Costa Rica. Were you guys following those matches?
Yeah, I mean, they were definitely a small, feisty group, and it's unfortunate that they did end up with Nigeria. And on my U20s, that's who we ended up losing to.
I noticed
So
that when I was
not-
researching. It's always Mexico, Nigeria,
Yeah.
now,
Right.
and then the Mexican men have played Nigeria twice in the last year. I was like, what is the
I don't know what's going
inevitability
on.
of it?
They always end up with Japan too.
In
somehow.
Japan.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just mainly Nigeria. I
Yeah.
mean, they put up a fight, you know. Definitely left our country proud. Watched them to the last minute, and even regardless of score, effort's never a factor.
I think it really bodes well for the future of Mexican women's
Yeah.
soccer and also for CONCACAF, just to see the talent there. I mean, you forget that you're watching 15 and 16-year-olds.
Exactly.
They're ripping shots from 30 yards outside the box. They're hitting upper 90. Wow. So looking ahead to next year's Women's World Cup, full Women's World Cup, this will be the first time that it's 24 teams. So for the first time, there will be more than 3 CONCACAF teams. So the first time it will be more than U.S., Canada, Mexico.
Yes.
So we'll definitely see a 4th team, potential of a 5th team. Who do you guys think that those 2 teams could be?
I don't know. Right now, all I'm focused is us. We need to qualify. What we can control is the way we do. So.
Right. But you've played against the other CONCACAF teams several times, yes, like in qualifying for the U20s. I mean, my guess would be Costa Rica seems like they're always, they're the perennial 4th place team.
Well, yeah.
But I kind of wonder who that team will be that will get the playoff spot.
Well, there's always the U.S., of course.
Right.
And then.
And Canada doesn't have to qualify.
Canada
because
doesn't
they're
have to.
hosts.
Right. So then it's 2 more.
Well, so it's the semifinal winners
Canada's already
and the
in.
3rd place match
Canada's
and
already
Canada.
in, so it's 3 more after that.
And then the next
It
person
could be
gets a
like
playoff.
The wild
Really?
card.
Yeah.
It's like
I didn't
the
know
wild
that.
card.
Yeah.
So potentially
5.
5 total from CONCACAF.
Right.
That's what I think. We're up there.
Yeah. And that's why I think that's so great for the growth of the game. I'm sure we'll have this Women's World Cup
Yeah.
where you're going to have some lopsided scores, but I think it really gives
The playoff
incentive
game.
to
Yeah.
the rest of CONCACAF.
Yeah.
Similar in Africa,
Mhm.
in the smaller European countries, like, hey, we actually have a shot. Let's try to.
I think Costa
develop
Rica.
that.
It's not so set.
Yeah.
Costa Rica. I think it seems like Trinidad's always kind of up there. At least just competing with their athleticism. I'm not totally
I'm just
sure
thinking
who else,
of
but-
Yeah. So
Nigeria,
focused on
that's-
Nigeria.
yeah.
All right. Well, then we'll move on. Want to ask you about the significance of your player numbers for the Dash. Did you get to choose those? Were those your first choice, or how did that process happen? If it's something you can tell us about.
I asked for number 10, and I got it. I don't know how.
Nobody wanted 10, maybe?
Somewhere through the grapevine, I got it. I don't know.
Were you 10 for Stanford?
I was 7 for Stanford, but 10's been my number since I was little, and it's my favorite. So I'm really happy that I got it.
What about you, Ari?
I asked for 2. I was number 2 in Nebraska as well. And then for Mexico, it changes from 2 to 13, so I mean, it's
Okay.
stuck around.
Yeah.
And I think in positional wise, number 2 has always been kind of like the outside back,
Yeah.
right back.
Nice traditional,
Yeah, you do for Mexico.
traditional
also,
soccer
I don't
numbers.
think I do either.
right?
All right, so who do you guys think is going to win the men's World Cup?
Germany.
You want to take it?
Hear that a lot.
I just have a feeling.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for, but it's like I don't want to say it.
Who's going to get further, Mexico or USA?
Whoa, that's such a
You can't
hard
ask that.
question.
Mexico.
Yeah, it's okay given that the USA is in the group of death.
I don't
We're not going to hold
know.
against you.
I don't
No, they
know.
really are. The draw was really bad.
Mexico can just like surprise you at any time, you know.
I think they do a much better job of, okay, 2013 was crap, but we were just going to forget about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
they can
Yeah,
move on.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
we tend to carry our baggage.
Maybe.
I'm gonna go with Mexico all the way.
I think Mexico somehow just finds its times to like
Yeah.
shine, and then it has its bad moments, and it's, you know, but
When it's bad,
and then
it's bad,
yeah, but when it's good, it's
good.
good.
Well, I like
It's
how
fun.
the World Cup draw ended up that USA and Mexico could only meet in the
In
final.
finals.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
I wish.
Yeah.
How awesome
Yeah.
would that be?
Yeah.
I mean, but though, would that be really hard for you guys to watch that game where it's like, okay, yeah, I'm American, but
Yeah, I mean,
You
it'll
know,
be a
too
lot.
hard.
and,
I
and
think
there's a lot of
obviously
Americans
Mexico.
that,
Oh,
that
for
deal
sure.
with that.
Mexico.
I would go
Yeah.
to Mexico all the way.
Mexico.
Where you're like, okay, I always root for the USA, I always root for Mexico as long as they're not playing each other.
Make
And
it a
then-
close game.
Right.
That's all.
But Mexico at the end of the day.
Mm.
Yeah. And then this Wednesday we have USA versus Mexico in a
Yep,
friendly
yep, yep.
in Phoenix, I think, and
home
you know, and Brad Davis, you know, from
Yeah.
the Dynamo, hopefully will
Yeah,
get some
that's awesome.
time. Yeah, this one to me is in kind of the same level of rivalry as a qualifier because we really know on both ends it's the bubble players trying to.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
what would be your prediction for the score?
Mhm.
Knowing that both sides, these are people that they're fighting to get on that 23-man
Mhm.
roster
Yeah.
for Brazil.
I don't even want to jinx it. I don't know. Like, I
think I might go with the U.S.
was gonna say 2-1.
But I don't know.
want it
I
to be
don't
a
know
good
what the
game.
score would be though.
Yeah, you always want it to be a good game.
Yeah,
'cause
that's just like a
it's-
2-1. It's that horrible lead. The 2 like
Yeah.
2-0.
That great soccer cliche,
And
the
then
most dangerous league in
exactly,
soccer.
and then it's gonna be like down to the wire.
I think that the U.S. being at home and then kind of having confidence coming from the qualifiers, I think maybe, and I just I think that Klinsman's probably a good coach. So.
Yeah, see how that goes. All right, time for trivia. I got 5 questions for you guys. You can try to answer together, answer individually. They all have a Mexican soccer flavor to them, so that should help you out
Okay.
if you're
Okay.
not sure where I'm going with some
All
of
right,
these.
all right.
No penalties for losing.
Okay.
Maybe a bonus for doing
Okay.
well. All right, who scored the first ever goal by Mexico against the U.S. women's national team?
Maribel
I
Rodriguez.
don't know.
Nice. And where was that goal scored?
I don't know. I just know that she has got so many.
Houston, Texas.
Oh,
Robertson Stadium.
wow.
Really?
Yeah, and guess who was against? Hope so.
Solo, really?
I can't remember the last name.
All right, Mexico and France played in the first ever men's World Cup match
Okay.
in 1930.
Okay, well,
What's your guess? What's your guess as to what the score
Mexico.
was?
Mexico won.
I say, is this
3-1.
What's
5-1.
the one? Lee.
4-1.
4-1.
Lee
Wow.
asked something about this game.
All right, name the only stadium in the world to host 2 men's World Cup finals.
Stadium.
Wembley? No.
What country were you born in?
Azteca.
There you go.
Really?
Yeah,
I was like, I think
1970
Azteca?
and 1986.
Had both.
Had the final both times. Yeah.
I'd be up to find out.
Which Mexican soccer club in Division?
Oh my gosh. What's Notre Dame's color? Green
I think they were
and.
like
the
royal
green
blue.
and. No, they're like green and silver.
No.
No?
Gold.
Navy and gold.
Navy.
Gold.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Green and silver. Then it has to be.
Navy and gold.
Gold.
I mean-
Navy and gold.
Jesus. Navy and gold. America? Navy and gold. Who's navy and gold?
Wait,
Tigres.
Cruz Azul.
No, Pumas.
Pumas.
Okay.
I'm thinking
That's
of
my
lighter
team.
blue.
I should have known that. I
That's
should
what
have known that.
I thought.
yeah.
I thought that might
That's
be your
my
team.
team.
Because did your dad play for Pumas?
No, but I'm from Mexico
Leo.
City. And Leo played for
Leo
Pumas.
played for Pumas.
And my dad has always supported Pumas, so I have to go.
So So now you know the Notre Dame
Yeah,
Pumas
I didn't know
connection.
that.
Well, Notre Dame came to Pumas, I think it was in the 50s or 60s, and helped them set up an American football team. So that's where that color
Wow.
comes from. All right, name the only Mexican player to suit up for the Houston Dynamo. And I think his nickname was the Scorpion. Or maybe that's just what we call him as a joke. But
What was his name? Because I asked Lee about it.
It's not Servando. Servando's never played
No.
for Mexico.
he played about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah,
just for
Scorpion.
a season.
Scorpion. La Lacran. I have no idea.
Luis Angel Landin.
There's another one that-
Luis Angel Landin.
Luis Angel Landin.
Landin.
Landin. Landin.
I think he came from Cruz Azul, and I don't know, he got to Houston and really enjoyed the food, and that was the end of
I'll
that.
have
but-
to
Yeah, I
ask,
just
I'll
remember
have to
the
ask
call
about
out.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys did pretty well.
Okay.
All right, and thank you so much for joining us today, and wish you luck in A&M. We actually have a bus trip of fans going. I got about 25 people so far. So if you would say to the camera, get on the bus with Keeper Notes.
Yeah.
Buckle
Get
up.
on the bus. See you
And we'll see you Wednesday night, College
Okay.
Station. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you very much.